It's been very challenging. I'll just start with that. I think when it comes to investors and they're looking at companies within the healthcare sector, number one, medical devices are extremely high risk investments. So healthcare is a high risk investment for any startup, and also hardware is another very high risk for investors in comparison to software. But I suppose like how we started out with our investment journey was by making a huge list of 100 plus VCs, angel groups within the Scottish and wider UK investment ecosystem. And we immediately began to shortlist that list with by looking at portfolio companies. Would these guys be interested in potentially what Bioliberty has to offer? Because VCs and angel groups, they do have a preferred interest for where they place their investments, and by looking at the portfolio companies, you can establish that pretty quickly. And then from there, it's down to how can we make inroads and getting introductions with everybody that's made that shortlist of maybe could be even 50, 60 groups of people. And for a large part of that, we were able to get introductions through our available network. And how we built up that network of angels and VCs was by doing every accelerator program that the Scottish startup ecosystem had to offer. Within our first year, we must have been on 20 plus, startup accelerators. And, we were able to do that through a pretty large co-founding team of about 4 people. I think all 4 of us was maybe on 2 different programs within 2 or 3 nights of the week. And yeah, it's time zapping, and you do have to call it quits in some of these accelerator programs, but without them, we wouldn't have been able to build up our network and get introductions to people within angel groups and VCs. So yeah, that was very helpful. But then also just formulating your business plan, formulating your value proposition, and having it in a really clear format, ready for website submissions. Most of these guys have a web submission box that you can submit all that detail through, and they'll try to get back to you through that. But to get in front of these people, you really do have to build your network and lean on your network for introductions, and that's how we done that. And one thing that we've learned throughout the entire process, you can very quickly think that the conversations are going really, really well at the beginning, and 6 to 8 months later, you haven't felt that you've made all that much progress. So you have to continue to talk to absolutely everyone and anyone, and it really sucks up a lot of your time and your energy having to keep up so many conversations. But you just never know at any time your number one horse that you're backing in terms of a potential investor can very quickly fall to the back, within the space of one meeting. And that was extremely challenging for us. We were always talking about there's a really exciting conversation that's going really well there, and that person you're talking about one week falls, they're suddenly totally off the cards the next. So never get too excited about 2 or 3 investor opportunities, and don't let other conversations fall to the wayside just because they're not going as well as others, because it comes back full circle all the time. The more conversations that you can have, the better. We're very close to closing out our seed investment round right now, and we're still looking for introductions to potentially new groups of investors, because you just never know what can happen the next day in a conversation with these guys. And it's important to always have more options with everything you do in business. We always have plan Bs, plan Cs, plan Ds, and there's no reason why you shouldn't have contingency plans for fundraising money. And by opening up as many conversations as possible, that's what you're doing. You have to continue to have contingency plans at every stage, no matter how well it's going with one particular person. So yeah, we're coming to the end of that process right now. Fingers crossed, of raising the seed investment round. Hopefully, we're going to have that closed in the next 2 to 3 months. So that's great. It has been a very challenging road to date. Key lessons that we've learned as a hardware company, a medical device hardware company right now, is that investors are very aware of the regulatory journey that you might be going on. We've been helped. Our own conversation has been helped by the fact our primary target market is the US, and that makes being a class 2 510K exempt device has simplified our regulatory journey a little bit, but investors will get to the bottom of these questions, and they will probe you and try to understand if you know what you're talking about from a regulatory perspective. So there's been we've had to learn a lot very quickly, to be able to answer those questions. And then lastly as well, you have to be very clear on your plan for the future and your plan for follow on funding rounds. We're raising a seed right now, but we've had to pay a lot of interest to what we will plan to do, or what we may plan to do for Series A and Series B, because medical devices take a lot of funding to get to market, and investors are very aware of that. And yeah, so it's been a challenging journey, but it's exciting that we're finally near the end of that. The support from a regulatory perspective by having a really good relationship with initiatives like Scout, and with our partnerships through CPA, we were actually able to obtain a pretty large 30K regulatory grant. So a grant that was specifically aimed at helping us out as a medical device company and try to help us figure out our regulatory journey. So at the minute, that 30K grant we're working through that right now with a regulatory consultant, and that grant has been absolutely key to helping us work with consultants that know the answer to all these questions from a regulatory perspective that we didn't know. So that grant has actually enabled us to work with a consultant to help us answer the questions that investors want to hear. So that's been absolutely key to our progress with our current investment round. But also, investment round aside, that grant has helped us put in place the foundations and the building blocks of our own 13485 QMS system. And yeah, it's been absolutely everything from a regulatory perspective to have that grant in place, to know that we can continue to work with a consultant daily, weekly, monthly, for really the next 12 months, without having to worry about where the funding is coming from. It's really changed the face of our business from a regulatory perspective. The benefit and the value is that it is a little bit of a pat on the back. Well, for us it was anyway. The assessment did tell us we are doing a lot of things really well, and there is potential for our technology within our sector. But it did identify the gaps, as I said, and 2 of them gaps were intellectual property and also software development. So a key part of our product offering is a software platform alongside our hardware product. When we carried out this assessment, it was flagged to us that we had no software expertise and within the team, for approaching our next investment round, it was communicated to us that having a real knowledge and understanding of the pathway to creating that software platform would be really key So as a result of that, we actually went out and sought support from Scottish Enterprise, and so we were paired with software development consultancies that have been trying to help us on that journey of our digital therapy platform development. And as well, in terms of IP, the gap with our IP actually was flagged to us and was pretty concerning that we hadn't actually filed for IP at that stage when carrying out the assessment. I think it really gave us a sense of urgency that we were going to have to address our pitfalls around IP, and as a result of that, we actually have filed our first. We are patent pending now. Yeah, it is. It is exciting. It's easy to go to work when it comes to Bioliberty. What's next for us is, in the immediate future, is closing up our seed investment round, as I've already talked about, and moving on from that. Bioliberty is looking at another really intense 12 months of product development to hopefully deliver on our earliest testable product. And with our earliest testable product, we're hopefully going to be taking that product to the United States of America, which is our primary target market, and hopefully scaling our commercial team out there, and getting this product into the hands of early adopters is really key. But also what's really exciting for us is with the help of our seed investment round, we're going to be scaling the product development team here in Edinburgh. And yeah, a lot more hands on the job, and hopefully that's just going to accelerate and our product development. My advice would be to do it. It's an absolutely no-brainer. Some of the support we've gotten from MDMC and the Scouts initiative is absolutely great in terms of growing our own network. On the back of identifying regulatory and intellectual property challenges, the guys at MDMC and CPI have put us in contact with some really key partners that we've continued to work with to address these challenges. Not only that, but MDMC was actually pretty helpful in getting Bioliberty through the doors, and an introduction to the new National Robotarium there out at Harriet Watt. And that looks like somewhere where Bioliberty will maybe be taking residence in the coming year, which is really exciting for us. And we couldn't have got that kind of introduction without you guys. And yeah, and also even with regards to investments, CPI, not many people might know, but CPI have an investment arm to their offering, and we've had a lot of great conversations with this CPI investment arm of the group, and hopefully that's still conversations that are to be finalised, but it's really opened up doors and helped shape up our investment round to date.